The crazies are kicking in again. 2,900 miles from home. If you followed us and saw our journey with getting the Phoenix in 2014, we were bidding for it on eBay sight unseen, and we won it. And then we flew out there and had to test drive it 2,300 miles home, which worked well. Here we are in crazy number 2. We put a deposit on this camper in Oregon. We wouldn't be able to fly out there like we did with the Phoenix, and because we had to drive the truck this time because it is a fifth wheel. So we were going to have to drive a truck out there so we could hook it up when we got there. So a little different situation, but still crazy number 2. We do it, boy. When we do it big. So Steve had several, he had been looking at trucks, and he had several saved from Marketplace that he'd been looking at. And the whole time he's been looking at it, he had been leaning towards a Dodge 3500 Ram diesel. And although he's kind of a Ford guy, the Fords that we could find in our price range all had 6.0 motors in it. Now, I don't know exactly what the negatives are about the 6.0 motors, but hopefully I'm going to tell you more about that in the next video. But I'll give you a little hint there. Tell you more about that in a little video. But he did it. He told me initially he did not want a 6.0. So while I was helping him look for a truck, I was avoiding the Fords. So I was a little confused one day when he says to me, I want to go look at this truck. It was right here in our hometown. He found it on Marketplace. And I looked at it and I said, well, it's a Ford. It's a 6.0. I was quite confused. He wanted to look at this one because some of the things that needed to be done to a 6.0 to make them less liable to break down, I guess, had already been done. It was a one owner. He had all the records of everything he had done on it. It was a 2006 Ford 3500 diesel King Ranch. One owner, all the records, and it already had a fifth wheel. It had a fifth wheel hitch in the bed. He wanted to look at it because he said if the 6.0s had the right things done to them, it made a decent truck, and it would make the motor decent. And one of our grandsons is a 6.0 guru. He loves them. He has bought, I don't know how many broke down 6.0s and rebuilt them and did all the things that was necessary and made a great truck out of them. He's a sheer genius when it comes to these motors. So we called our 6.0 guru and asked him if he would go with us to take a look at this truck. And of course he did. And I told Steve before we left, I said, we're not buying the first truck we look at. And he said, no, I know. And I said, okay. So we get over there, and it was, like I said, right in our hometown. And we get over there and look at it, and I could see it from a distance when we got there. I said, oh, great, it's black. And I do not like black vehicles. I never did, never will. And we got a little closer, and I saw that it had a sunroof, and that is something that we have tried to avoid in vehicles that we buy because the ones that we did have in the past had always ended up leaking. So it was another negative. It was older than what we would have liked. And but then again, the price range that it was in, it was a good price compared to everything else that was out there. I mean, trucks are ridiculously expensive. So our grandson, he's over there and he starts looking at it, and my husband goes around with him and looking at it, and they're looking at every little crook and cranny of this truck. And then my grandson gets inside, and he's got this little gadget that he hooks up to something inside that gives him all the readouts of, I guess, the motor stuff. I don't know what he looks at. I'll find out for you later. And he's looking at it all, and he gets out, never an expression in his face, never anything. He's just looking at it all. I go around and look at it, and I sit in the seats, and I said, King Ranch is top of the line. And we'd had one before, and I was comfortable in it. This one, the seats were absolutely hard and flattened out. And I knew King Ranch seats were expensive. And so I said to my husband and Max, I said, these seats are hard as a rock. And my comments fell on deaf ears. Next thing I know, I look over at my husband and I look at Max, and Max goes like this. That's all he did. One little nod of the head. And I knew I was done. He was done. We were done. So we bought it. First truck he looked at, black paint, sunroof, and flat seats. The plan was to get Max to do the other things that was still left that needed to be done to the motor to get it in good condition, so it would be totally reliable. In the next video, I'm hoping to get hold of Max and get him to do a video with me and tell you what all the negatives were to the 6.0, and those of you that like them already know, I reckon, and tell us what it had already had done to it and what he was going to do to it. So until next video, hang tight. 6.0 black Ford King Ranch 3500 diesel. Till next time, guys. Thank you for following along with us. And y'all hit subscribe and keep on keeping on with us.